Greetings, kindred spirits, and welcome to all the new subscribers to my channel. I'd like to apologise for not being able to produce any horoscopes over the last few months, or post up the meditations that I promised on the last full moon. It's been a really hectic time for me due to one thing or another, and I'm sure it's been the same for most of you with all the intense and dense energies that have been coming in. Also, I lost my internet connection for a few days after the full moon took place in Ophiuchus. And for those of you that watch my podcast with Catherine Kinney on my live transmission, you'll see I didn't actually get on board with that until about 40 minutes later. So it's just really been a crazy time. And since then I've been busy catching up on personal readings for my clients, so I do apologise for that. I do feel though that over the last week or so the energies have lightened up a bit for many of us, but to be honest, I personally see that we have been in the eye of the storm and that things are about to stir up again as we enter into this new moon total solar eclipse. So let's get straight into it. The new moon will begin in Gemini in the true lifetime sky on the 2nd of July. At 20:16 in the GMT time zone, at 15:16 in the EDT time zone, and on the 3rd of July at 5:16 in the AEDT time zone. And both the moon and sun will be at 10 degrees. So this new moon signifies the beginning of a new cycle, although other significant planet placement and degrees suggest that there will be a little bit more clearing out for us to do. Through the full moon that will take place in Sagittarius on the 16th or 17th of July, right up until the new moon that will take place in Cancer at 10 degrees on the 31st of July or 1st of August, depending on where you live in the world. And this will be when we will have another grand water trine involving our Sun, Moon, Venus, Chiron and Ceres, and where Mars will reach an exact conjunction with Juno at 1 degree in Leo, and where he will be fully supporting the divine feminine, protecting her from the years of abuse and neglect that she has been subjected to. But during this particular new moon solar eclipse, Mars will be coming into conjunction with Juno. Mars will be at 2 degrees whilst Juno will be at 7 degrees. But in between them sits Mercury in his shadow modes, because Mercury is about to go retrograde. And he will be at 5 degrees, which signifies that Mars, the masculine in the 3D realm here on Earth, is being enlightened to the injustices of the divine feminine energy. So this new moon cycle will play out throughout this month of July, and we will be witnessing here on Earth a chaotic but very enlightening time. We have 2 T-squares and a grand water trine this particular new moon. The first T-square is the ongoing one between the nodes Saturn, Pluto and Pallas, with our moon and sun conjunct to the north node, in the mutable signs of Gemini, Virgo and Sagittarius. And the second is between Chiron, Pallas, square the sun and moon, which shows that our masculine sun and feminine moon are both under a lot of pressure this new moon solar eclipse. Therefore, it is likely that many will be in their feelings or be feeling quite vulnerable throughout this moon cycle. So the energies coming in will be bringing in a great sense of unease and a lot of nervous energy, especially around the solar plexus area. Gemini is the sign of having 2 minds, and because we have a grand water trine in the signs of Pisces, Cancer and Scorpio, it's likely that we will be to-ing and throwing with our ability to make a decision and stick to it. Although it will be clear that a change is needed within our personal lives and on a global level. This is also a moon cycle where there could be an exposure of something that can be quite unnerving or distasteful regarding the corporate world. And the aspects do suggest that it could be to do with a religious or charitable organisation. On a personal level, there could be a revealing of something that will bring something to a head, so that something new can begin. And this could be due to with a relationship, a career, or a home situation. It really will be different for each and every one of us and where we're at on our current path. But also in saying that, the new moon chart I'm particularly looking at does emphasise the relationship area of our lives. Although I would suggest that any endings or new beginnings should be well thought out, and there should be a period of reflection first, especially since we are in the shadow of the Mercury retrograde and also a total solar eclipse, which can distort our vision or ability to see things clearly in the material physical world. Although our psychic intuition will be strong, and if we are in a good alignment with that part of ourselves, then we can actually achieve a great deal of insight. Things that occur during this moon cycle may seem quite overwhelming, but in hindsight, we will see that what took place during this time was for our highest and best. Because there are so many retrograde planets, and that the new moon solar eclipse is in Gemini, because of that, a lot of thinking and analysing does seem to be more the way to go. Although Gemini is a mutable sign that can speak before he thinks, so we must watch out for things being said off the cuff, especially if our emotions are running high. Wow, and there goes a car horn, so I see that as a little alarm bell there. The divine feminine herself is comfortable in the darkness since she has, that's been her natural habitat for many a century now. So her ability to go with the flow is a natural way of life. And during this total solar eclipse, she will reach her final stage of shedding what no longer serves her. And through her rebirth, she is likely to cause a lot of disruption and maybe a little bit of pain. But this process is necessary for her to rise in her full glory and take her rightful place in an environment that has been defiled throughout her absence. So as the feminine moon rises before the masculine sun, he will have no choice but to reflect on his past endeavours, where he put his ego and selfishness before his divine wisdom. But he is on the path of enlightenment and claiming back his divinity. Jupiter has now retrograded back to 9 degrees in Ophiuchus in the true lifetime sky. The last time Jupiter was at 9 degrees in Ophiuchus was before he started his retrograde journey back in January. Actually at the end of January, in between the full moon lunar eclipse that took place in Cancer on the 21st of January and the new moon in Capricorn that took place on the 4th of February. With the moon and sun in Gemini at 10 degrees, there is a possibility of us rushing into things a little bit too quickly, especially verbally. And there is always a sense of unease around the solar eclipses anyway. So watch out for problems with the solar plexus area. Also our gut instinct will be will be quite strong, as well as our telepathic and psychic abilities. So, we've got to be in that place of peace and solitude, to actually, if you do get instincts or any psychic impressions or anything like that, please do write them down. Because after this cycle completes, and I'm taking this into August, then we can reflect back on that and see what actually came up. There is also a possibility of us rushing to conclusions, since Gemini likes quick answers to questions. But at the same time, this mixture can help us to delve deep into the dark recesses of our minds and hearts, to face the truth of our situations, as I said, if we choose this time wisely, and allow for further healing of any unresolved grief or loss. Now, the Black Moon Lilith will be at 19 degrees in Capricorn and has finished her transit in Sagittarius, although she does always flick backwards and forwards between two signs, sometimes three signs depending on their constellation size. Since February of this year, she has been flitting between Capricorn and Aquarius, which makes her energy more volatile and demanding, since when she's in both Capricorn and Aquarius, she flexes her dominating spirit of power and control. But if we use this energy for the sake of humanity and our Mother Earth, then we will be using this energy wisely and to its best potential. But what can occur negatively with the Black Moon Lilith in Aquarius is a great sense of loneliness and a lack of control. So we must continue to work on our self-esteem and sense of wholeness, our self-empowerment. So for this new moon, solar eclipse and the next 2 weeks, I recommend deep breathing techniques and lots of exercise, because we will need to keep our bodies and minds connected, since many of us may be too much in our heads. I feel that apart from the solar plexus, all the chakras will need to be aligned, both the higher and the lower, since Pluto and Saturn are still clearing our ancestry lines and deep old wounds. I also recommend using rainbow colours to uplift our spirits, like yellow, pink, blue, green, purple, etc. But the more brighter shades of these colours. And I would say also, with candles, I think you can get rainbow coloured candles actually, but if not, just burn bright coloured candles, maybe at the same time. I suggest also that we burn citrus incense for clearing and refreshing. But I would say the most important thing throughout this moon cycle is to raise our vibration. So I would recommend sound baths, mantras, as well as meditation. I'm linking below several meditations and mantras. Of course, the meditations are by Steve Nobel, but I'm also suggesting, I'm actually suggesting 3 of those in all of Steve Nobel's. But please do pick what you feel is relevant to you. The first is called the Family of Light meditation, and that is for those that are feeling that sense of loneliness at this time. The second is Healing the Bloodline, for those who are clearing their elders and ancestry bloodlines. And the third one is Emotional Healing meditation, for those of us that are clearing old emotional wounds of the past. The mantras are beautiful to listen to. I'm always guaranteed a beautiful day when I do the morning mantra by Meditative Mind. So I'm linking that one below too, as well as the Kundalini mantra by DhyaanGuru. I think I've said that right. And I find that is very calming and soothing. Actually, I tend to play that one when I'm working on my podcasts. But this total solar moon eclipse is very important, especially for the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies. This isn't just the rebirth of the divine feminine, it is also the rising of the divine masculine. So he is rising in support of the divine feminine. And like I said, it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's going to take, a little bit more clearing and a little bit more work. And we can do this right up until the next new moon cycle, because the moon will be eclipsing the sun. So it is a moon of darkness, really, which is the reason why I'm mentioning the black moon Lilith's energy. So, new beginnings won't actually start until the next new moon, but in the meantime, this is a very good time to do some more clearing and working on our self-empowerment. And before I close, I just want to say a big thank you for all your support and for sharing your experiences in the comments sections of my podcasts, because I know this also helps others too that are going through something similar. So please do continue to do that. And also please do like, subscribe and share. So, once again, I'm wishing you all peace and much love.